Hello, everybody. This is Bruce from Oregon. It's the Bruce from Oregon Show. Today, we are continuing our Management Best Practices video series. And today, I want to talk about invention versus innovation. And I want to talk about evolutionary solutions versus revolutionary solutions. And I want to touch on creativity. So, our landing screen here is a bunch of pictures from Google that represent creativity. And as you can see, there's light bulbs, there's brains, there's colors, there's lines. It's just, what is creativity? We're going to get into it. From a management perspective, I think it's a good idea to have a handle on these topics as you work on a day-to-day basis with your team and with other teams that your team is responsible for working with. Okay, so let's get into differentiating inventions versus innovations. Okay, what's the difference? Are these synonyms or are they really different? So, invention is the action of inventing something, typically a process or device. This is something that has been invented, it's something new. So, we've come up with something that didn't exist before. For example, when personal computers became popular, we saw personal computers that had a mouse or a pointing device that went along with them. Now, the mouse was invented, I believe, at Xerox and went with some of their custom machines that they had and used there. It wasn't like a worldwide thing. It wasn't something every single person had, every single person used at home. Okay? That happened later. And how did that happen? That happened through innovation. Okay, so what is innovation in contrast to invention? Innovation is the action or process of innovating, which that's very circular. But anyway, they're saying a new method, idea, product, etc. Technological innovations designed to save energy. And what I would say is an innovation is taking something that already exists or something that exists in one form and transforming it or improving it and making it better for some purpose. So, for example, maybe it's very expensive to make a computer mouse at Xerox. And maybe another company can do some innovation and come up with a way to manufacture it more economically or to package it and market it in a different way so that everybody who buys a personal computer wants a mouse. Okay, that would be the innovation. For example, a lot of people, when they bought the Apple Macintosh computer, it came with a mouse. It was one of the first personal computers that was affordable to buy and put in your home for at least some people. And it came with a mouse. And that was a big selling point versus, say, another personal computer where you just have a keyboard, for example. Okay, so Apple computer with the Macintosh did not invent the mouse, the computer mouse, but they innovated to create a product, the Macintosh, that included the mouse. And then I think they licensed the mouse technology from Xerox, or there was a whole thing about that. You can go read about that. They didn't invent it, but they innovated in order to make it successful. So as you're working with your teams, as a manager, and working with other teams, I think it's very important to keep this idea clear in your head. What is an invention and what is innovation? And when do you need one versus when do you need the other? When is one sufficient to solve a problem versus the other? Because if you can innovate, you can often get to a solution faster than trying to invent something brand new or reinvent the wheel, as the saying goes. And it can be more efficient, more effective, faster, and maybe more profitable. So as a manager, this is an idea you're going to want to have in the back of your mind as you're managing your employees' tasks, you're working on projects, you're trying to achieve the mission statement that you have for your company, for your job, for your business, and all of that. Okay, so that's innovation versus invention. And the way I like to look at this in terms of problem solving is, do we need an evolutionary solution or do we need a revolutionary solution? Okay, so this gets into, what does that mean? I would define an evolutionary solution as, and they say right here, the gradual development of something. So gradually over time, you're changing something very slowly. So if you're working in a company and you have product X and you're going to do the next iteration and the next iteration. You're going to do 5 iterations, and you make small changes, improving each one. I would call that an evolutionary product line, evolutionary changes, evolutionary solutions. And this can be useful because you're constantly improving something and you're able to get quick feedback on what works and what doesn't work. So if you're making 5 products, 1 per year, over 5 years, the first one gets done, you learn from it, you make the second one a little better, you make the third one a little better than that, you make the fourth one even better than that. Instead of trying to make something perfect from the start, or trying to invent or innovate with a revolutionary solution. Now, what's a revolutionary solution? This would be a solution that requires, it says right here, involving or causing a complete or dramatic change. So, for example, if you completely change the way you do something, okay, like having butter in the grocery store is a revolutionary change from just like having butter in your house because you own a butter churn and you just make your own butter out of milk or something like that, right? There are revolutionary changes that occur. Sometimes they happen to us, but sometimes we can decide, hey, we're working on product A, and next year we're going to work on product B, and we have a problem we have to solve. The way to frame this as a manager is, does that problem require a revolutionary solution or an evolutionary solution? And my advice is that whenever possible, use the evolutionary solution instead of the revolutionary solution, because it will be easier, faster, more efficient, and you will learn what's good and what's bad about that solution more rapidly, okay? And the other problem I've seen in the past, in my personal experience with revolutionary solutions that you have to watch out for as a new manager, is there will often be people with a revolutionary solution in search of a problem, okay? And this is what you want to try and spot and avoid at all costs. So someone will say, hey, I can make something better with this revolutionary solution. And then the question really is, does it need to be better? Like, is what we have today good enough? Or is there a evolutionary solution, a minor change, that can get us most of the way or all the way or part of the way, and that's good enough to start with, instead of going straight to a revolutionary solution that's going to be high cost, high complexity, high effort, a lot of change, and you don't know if you're really going to see the value. The other pitfall I've seen with revolutionary solutions is that someone will have this, big invention or something brand new, a revolutionary change that they want to do, and they want to do it because they invented it. And the problem I've seen is, unless you are in a position where the only solution to a problem is a revolutionary solution, then you should always try and find a better evolutionary solution. The revolutionary solution can be good if there's no other solution, or if it's a complete game changer for your product line, or the industry you're working in. Okay, so if you have a goal and a revolutionary solution is the only way to accomplish that goal, then that's what you have to do. Otherwise, my advice is stick with the evolutionary solution. Now, the other pitfall to watch out for when you're in this situation where the revolutionary solution is required to solve the problem, a lot of times it will be very difficult to evaluate if that revolutionary solution will accomplish the goal you're trying to hit. So if you are embarking on a path where at work you're doing revolutionary solutions instead of evolutionary solutions, you need to do a lot more program management, a lot more frequent checkpoints on progress, and a lot more evaluation regarding whether that solution, that new revolutionary solution, is working or not. Because it may, and it may be the best new thing, it may be the computer mouse, revolutionary solution, innovation, and it takes off. It may be the iPhone, and now everybody has an iPhone or an Android phone, the cell phone, smartphone revolution. It may be like that. But you have to have a clear vision of what the success criteria is, and then you measure it very frequently. Frequent measurement is what you need when you have these new inventions, these revolutionary solutions, as opposed to an easier path where you can just innovate on an existing invention and do an evolutionary solution. And these concepts, I think, are important for a manager to have in the back of their mind as they're doing their day-to-day work. Yeah, we got schedules, performance reviews, bugs, problems, paperwork, all this stuff, right? But if you have these concepts in the back of your mind, they will help you be a better manager. Okay, now what does this have to do with creativity? So I think if you're going to have a team, right, that's going to be coming up with innovative solutions or new inventions every now and then, you have to understand creativity, okay? So in creativity, what we have is the tendency to generate or recognize ideas, alternatives, or possibilities that may be useful in solving problems. And when we go to our job and we're a manager and we're working for our employees, we're just trying to solve problems all day, right? So creativity is very important. Communicating with others and entertaining ourselves and others. So I think for me, what I would add to this is, as a manager, you want to foster a creative mindset in your team. And you need to understand that creativity, to me, is about bringing information or ideas from disparate domains together to solve a problem in a new way that no one ever solved before. So, for example, if you work at a company where you're, I don't know, doing something with sheet metal, and you just hire people that have worked with sheet metal their whole lives, that's all they do, that's all they know, you are going to have solutions based on that information and that experience. On the other hand, if you have somebody who has a background in something adjacent to the industry you're working with, maybe you have a civil engineer, they used to build bridges, and now they're working in this sheet metal industry. Maybe they know something from their experience and their past in a different domain. It doesn't even have to be a professional domain. It could be a creative domain, like they mentioned here with entertainment. So maybe there's somebody who's a musician or a drummer. And because they're a drummer, they understand something about drums that is a concept that you can use to solve a problem in your new domain, your professional domain, whether that's building a bridge, working with sheet metal, building computers, whatever it might be. So don't be afraid to embrace creativity, where creativity is really about bringing disparate or a diversity of backgrounds together to try and solve a problem or innovate and potentially invent to solve the new problems. And as a manager, you are going to be responsible for bringing these creative people together, the individual contributors, and increasing the efficiency and improving the products that your team is building through the use of these concepts. So I think this is kind of abstract. It's not super, what do I do? How do I have a difficult conversation with my employee like last week? But I think these are very interesting things to think about and keep in the back of your mind so that you can be a more effective and a more relatable manager with your team. If you understand the concepts of creativity, invention, innovation, evolutionary solutions, and revolutionary solutions, and when they're most applicable, that will let you make good management decisions, and that will enable you to have your team be a higher performing team, bring together better solutions over time, over the project, as you do your normal day-to-day work. All right, that's really all I wanted to talk about today. Quick topic. We'll be back next week with another one. I've got a laundry list. I've got a few that the audience members have suggested or people that I've worked with in the past have suggested, so I'm going to try and get to those next, and we will cover those next Tuesday. All right, if you've stuck around this long, thank you so much for your time. I am Bruce Morgan. This is the Bruce Morgan Show. These are management best practices. I will talk to you later. Have a good week. Thanks, guys.